I definitely regret losing my cool. In some ways I do, but not in every way. You know, I feel like I spoke my mind. What I'm hoping is that we can undo what was negative and kind of work on what was positive. But I'll do whatever I can to try to just bring this thing down because I'm not about negativity. I didn't come here for that.
Dr. G thought he could talk his way out of everything, twist the truth, and just walk away without facing any consequences. Well, that wasn't going to happen on my watch. At first, Dr. G seemed like the perfect guy. He appeared to be this wise, supportive husband, always talking about how he was there to protect his wife and how he led their marriage with love. But behind closed doors? A completely different story. The man was all about control, manipulation, and gaslighting. While Letitia was out on the beach, pacing and stressing over him, he was acting like a tough guy with her. Yet, the moment another man stepped into the picture, suddenly, he was all calm and respectful, saying, "No disrespect, no disrespect." So, you're ready to get all tough with your wife, but when it comes to another guy your size, you suddenly show respect? But wait, this isn't even the worst part. Once the footage was released and the true side of Dr. G came out, the lies, the contradictions, and his sheer audacity were on full display.
Probably is a lot for him to see. Me being happy and have a handsome man who's young and strong. And should I not be allowed to say those things because my ex-husband is sitting here with his new wife? Nobody didn't have that type of grace for me when they was parading around.
Letitia had been doing her best to keep it together for him, but the way he belittled her, twisted every argument to make it her fault, and treated her like she was the problem, it was disgusting. What gets me even more is how this whole friend group played along, acting like Letitia was the one in the wrong, when Dr. G was out here showing the same toxic behavior that everyone had ignored before. But the truth wasn't just whispered behind closed doors. No, it was caught on tape. And once that footage was out there, everyone had something to say. The very people who were once defending Dr. G started backtracking, trying to fix their mess, but it was too late. The damage was done. People wanted an apology, and they wanted it now. Let's take a step back for a moment. This whole mess didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Dr. G has a long history of being shady, manipulative, and playing the victim every time he gets called out. If you've been paying attention, this pattern isn't new, it's been going on for years. Dr. G always tried to paint himself as the calm, rational guy, the man who was just trying to do the right thing while everyone around him was acting out. But behind closed doors, it's a completely different story. He's known for twisting situations to make himself look innocent, while subtly gaslighting everyone around him.
I chose to end that marriage, and it's done. I think she is the perfect fit for my ex-husband.
Well, we don't care what you think.
If he messes up, it's suddenly someone else's fault. If there's drama, it's because someone misunderstood him. Sound familiar? Because that's exactly what's happening now. And let's not forget about the mess with Contessa. This wasn't the first time Dr. G had been involved in scandal. He'd already faced serious allegations about his behavior back then, and people started noticing the cracks in his good guy image. Contessa had hinted at things that didn't sit right, stuff about control, manipulation, and him playing mind games with the women in his life. Guess what? That same behavior is showing up again, just with a different person. Dr. G always tried to play the "I'm just a misunderstood man" card, but the truth is, the signs were always there. Even before all of this went public, there were whispers, little moments where his true nature showed. The way he belittled women, the way he twisted words to make himself look like the victim, it's a pattern. And now Letitia is the latest person caught in it. But here's where things start to fall apart for him. For the longest time, Dr. G could get away with the lies, the manipulation, and the fake apologies. He could twist a situation, make people second-guess themselves, and walk away with his reputation still intact. But not this time. This time, the proof is right in front of us. Once the receipts dropped, the whole thing blew up in his face. See, it's one thing when people just talk about you behind your back, but when there's video or audio to back up everything being said? That's a whole different ballgame.
I saw last night.
They can't handle the pressure.
They can't handle it.
And Dr. G got caught in the worst possible way. The leaked footage exposed everything he'd been trying to hide. It showed his manipulation, the gaslighting, and the way he spoke to Letitia when the cameras weren't around. Let's break it down. In the leaked audio, you can hear the shift in his tone. He tries to sound calm and logical, but the words he's saying are toxic. When Letitia confronts him about his behavior, he doesn't deny it. Instead, he flips it on her, making it seem like she's the one in the wrong. And don't even get me started on the video footage. When people saw that, the internet went wild. Dr. G was out here acting like the supportive husband, but behind closed doors, he was cold, dismissive, and downright disrespectful. At one point, you can actually see him smirking while Letitia is clearly upset. That's not a man who cares, that's a man who enjoys having power over someone. What really makes this situation worse is how Dr. G acted in public. He was all, "I don't know what's going on. I'm blindsided by all this drama."
She was acting like all superior and she needed to endorse our relationship.
But in private, he knew exactly what he was doing. The receipts showed he was talking recklessly when he thought no one was listening. He made slick comments, threw little jabs, and always made sure he had the upper hand in every conversation. And the contradictions, oh boy. He went from, "I would never talk to my wife like that," to getting caught doing exactly that. He went from, "I just want to work things out," to laughing about the whole situation when he thought the cameras were off. The way he got exposed in real time is insane. But the worst part? The way people reacted. Once that footage went viral, the folks who were defending him started changing their tune. The people who were saying, "Oh, Letitia is just overreacting," had to sit there and eat their words. Even some of Dr. G's own friends and supporters had to step back and say, "Yeah, this isn't a good look." Now Letitia's got some decisions to make, because how do you move forward when the whole world has seen how your husband really feels about you? And of course, the internet didn't let this one slide. The moment those receipts dropped, social media went into full meltdown mode. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. Everyone had something to say, and let me tell you, the reactions were not in Dr. G's favor. People were dragging him left and right, exposing past moments that had been ignored, and calling him out for the manipulative man he's always been. Fans were the first to demand an apology. Nobody was buying the misunderstanding excuse this time. They wanted Dr. G to own up to what he did. No deflections, no twisting the story, just a straight-up admission that he was wrong. Then came the cast members. Some of them took to their platforms to express their disappointment. They called him out directly, reminding everyone that this isn't new behavior. Even Dr. G's former friends had something to say. They admitted they had ignored the signs before, but they couldn't do it anymore. One of them even posted, "At some point, you've got to stop making excuses for people who don't want to change. If your own friends are turning on you, that's a huge red flag." And then, to make things even worse, one particular person came forward with their own experience. They spilled some serious tea about Dr. G's past behavior, and it matched up perfectly with what we're seeing now. It was like the final puzzle piece clicking into place, and once that happened, there was no turning back. Despite all this, there were still a few people trying to make excuses for him. Some folks said things like, "Maybe we don't know the full story," or "He was probably just frustrated." But honestly, those excuses didn't hold any weight when the proof was staring us all in the face. Let's be real, this isn't just about one incident. It's about a pattern. It's about manipulation, gaslighting, and a man who has spent years controlling the narrative to protect his image. Dr. G has always known how to flip the script. If he gets caught doing something shady, he shifts the focus to how someone else provoked him. If people call him out, he plays the victim. It's a cycle, and every time, people let him get away with it. Think back to when Contessa tried to call him out. He played it off as a misunderstanding. When other people hinted at his toxic behavior, he turned it into a story about how people were just trying to bring him down. And now? He's out here saying the leaked footage was taken out of context. It's all the same. Now, the million-dollar question, is it over for Dr. G? After everything that's come out, it's looking really tough for him. The backlash is growing, his reputation is in serious trouble, and people are questioning whether he even deserves to stay in the public eye. His career is in jeopardy, and we all know how quickly brands and opportunities can disappear when the drama gets too messy. Relationships are built on trust, and right now, Dr. G has lost a lot of that. People who once defended him are stepping back, and even his closest allies are struggling to justify his actions. Some say he needs to apologize, while others think it's already too late. But here's the real question: can the public forgive him? We've seen people bounce back from scandals before, but it all depends on how they handle the fallout. If Dr. G comes forward with a real, heartfelt apology, no excuses, no gaslighting, just straight-up accountability, maybe some folks will be willing to move forward. But if he tries to downplay it, deflect, or act like he's the victim, it's over. The internet has a long memory, and people aren't here for another fake apology tour. So, now I want to hear from you. Does Dr. G deserve a second chance, or is this the end of the road for him? Let me know in the comments, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe, because we'll be keeping you updated on all the latest tea.